We're on Baba Metzia Perek Zayin Mishnah Bet. So in the last Mishnah, we talked about people who had the right to eat, meaning when you hire po'alim, you hire workers. So the Rabbanan said that if the accepted practice is to feed your workers, then you also have to feed your workers. So the Mishnah comes along and says, no, but there are other people that it's not an accepted practice, but ve'elu ochlin mina Torah. The Torah requires you to feed them. Okay, that you have to feed your workers, or are allowed to eat. You don't have to feed them, but they're allowed to eat when they're working. So now there are two psukim that relate to this specific issue. The first one is Devarim Chav Hei, Chav Gimel. The Torah says, Ki tavo b'kerem re'echa, when you enter into the kerem, the vineyard of your field, ve'achalta anavim kenafshecha savecha, you can eat grapes kenafshecha savecha as much as you can handle. You can eat whatever, but you're not allowed to put them in your vessel. You're not allowed to put them in the basket. You can't put them in your pockets to take home. I mean, this is talking about a case where someone is working and he's picking grapes, or he's picking the grapes, and therefore he can eat while he's picking. But he can't put them in his pockets. The second one is lo tachsom shor b'disho. When an ox is doing disha, threshing on the threshing floor, lo tachsom, you're not allowed to muzzle him. You can put a feed bag on his mouth so he can eat something separately, but you can't muzzle him. It's considered cruel. And we're going to see that Chazal learned out that they made a hekesh between the shore, between the person who's the animal who is doing the threshing, and the person that's setting the animal up to do the threshing, that those are similar. So now what the Chazal do is say, well, when a person is picking, what is the situation? And when the animal is doing the threshing, what is the situation? So therefore, we make an allusion and say the following. If you're dealing with something that's mechubar, are still attached to the ground, when you're picking it, b'shad gemar melacha, it's ready. Gemar melacha means it's ready to be picked. Okay, that's one case where you're allowed to eat. The second case is ubitalush min hakarka, something that's separated from the ground, ad shelo nigmara melachto, until it's ready to be eaten. Because remember, when you're threshing, it's not prepared yet. It's grain, and the threshing, even after the threshing, it's still not usable. So if you're doing it talush min hakarka, once it's already been picked, ad shelo nigmara melachto, you're allowed to eat it until before it's considered ready. V'davar shegidulo min haaretz, and these are things that grow from the ground. Why? Okay, Gemar Melacha, when you pick it, because it says ve'elka yechalo titein b'sha'a she'ata noten lekelav shabal habayit ta'ochel. This is what Chazal learned out. When you put it into the baskets of the owner, then you can eat. The hainu meaning kishetol shinoto, when you are picking the produce. Ubetalush arakarka imitasek v'davar shtalush. If you're dealing with something that's already picked, you can eat it ad shaloni gemara melachto lemaaser, until it's gemar melacha. Gemar melacha means considered usable, edible for the purposes of maaser. When you have to take off maaser, if it's bar maaser or chala, etc. Why? The amar kra lo tachsom shor b'disho. This is what we learn. You're not allowed to muzzle the animal when it's doing its threshing. Okay? We learn from there la'akushe chosem lenechsam. We make a hekesh. We compare the muzzler to the muzzled. Okay, etc. Kach chosem. So we make a connection between the animal and the person. Chosem shu adam ochel betalush kishem b'lachto. A person also can eat produce, okay, when he's doing his work, but it has to be like considered disho, like dayish when you're threshing. Davar shugedule karka, something that grew from the ground, like the wheat on the threshing ground. It's not ready to be eaten yet. It's not ready. It's not considered ready. Then you have to take off maaser. B'shad gemar melacha po'el ochel bo. Af kol davar. Similar, anything that's gidulei karka, grew in the ground. Lo nigmara melachto lemaaser. Okay, and it's not considered ready for maaser. Kishehu b'shad gemar melacha po'el ochel bo. When it's gemar melacha, the po'el can eat it. So what's excluded? Hacholev, hamechabetz, amegavein. Gavein is gavina, cheese, milk, mechabetz. I have to look that one up. Thank you, Google Translate. Churning, etc. Te'enam gidulei karka. If you have like tamarim, you have dates and figs that are connected, you have to pull them apart. They're already ready. So once you gemar melachtam, then you're not allowed, then they're already edible, and you're just working with already edible things, and therefore you can't eat them. If a person is sorting shumim and b'salim, why? Because They're not ready yet. They're not ready. They're not. These are small fruits. Okay, that are not grown, that are not fully grown. That's not Gemar Melachta. So all of those you can't eat. That's what the Mishnah says. If you're working with produce that's attached to the ground, when it's not yet ready, meaning you're not picking it, you're like weeding, or you're dealing with produce that's already picked, that's already ready, let's say you're cooking it or whatever, or you're like you're working with cows and milk, all of those things, those people don't have the right min Torah to eat the produce. We'll stop here. Dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav. Oh, where are we? I'm in the wrong Mishnah, wrong place. Dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav. Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. Have a great day.